So hello and welcome into another episode of Paul Saving Paul. The goal here is just to unfuck 20 years of improper thinking and poor habits. What I want to talk to you about today is I took journals from the last 3 years. It's about 100 journals. I just put them in a document. I uploaded them to Claude, and then it gave me a few questions about how I wanted to go over it. The question was, what's your primary goal for this analysis? So I answered recurring excuses and avoidance patterns. And then it asked me, how would you like these insights reframed? And I told it, be raw and brutal. Don't have a filter. So here's what it came up with. And I'm just gonna read some of this so that I'm not rambling about things. The core pattern: you are addicted to the revelation, not to the work. You don't have a discipline problem. You have an identity problem. You've built your entire self-concept around being the guy who is about to break through. That identity is complete and satisfying without you ever actually breaking through. Every time you write, "This time is different," you get the same dopamine hit that finishing the work would have given you without doing the work. This has been your mechanism for 3 years that you've got documented here. You are literally high on your own potential. So pattern one is that the cycle is the product. The entries are almost interchangeable. I talk too much and don't do the work. I keep saying the same thing. I'm so tired of reading my own journals and seeing this. You know this. You've said it 30 times in this document, and yet you keep journaling about knowing it instead of stopping the cycle. Oof. The journal itself has become a part of the avoidance. It gives you the feeling of self-awareness without self-correction. Damn. Problem two, substances are not the problem. They are the symptom of one thing. You've tried to quit weed, coke, alcohol, sex, porn, and Adderall at various points. You reframe each substance as the thing holding me back, but you relapse every single time, including immediately after Vipassana. 10 days of deep silence and reflection, and you are at an escort bar within 24 hours. Substances aren't the enemy. They are what you reach for the moment the gap between who you say you are and what you're actually producing becomes unbearable. I love this. You sedate the shame instead of closing the gap. And I'm embarrassed and ashamed to admit that, but I'm not getting any better by pretending that that's not the issue. And so this is what we're confronting. Pattern three, you use external validation as a substitute for internal standards. Women, followers, the reactions of Indians who've never seen a white man, the yoga teachers who tell you that they've seen positive changes, the friend who said that you command no respect. You're constantly triangulating your worth through other people's perception. When it's positive, you soar. When it's negative or absent, no one likes on your posts or nobody lending you money, you spiral. This is why your confidence collapses exactly when you need it the most, before you produce anything. And then it inflates exactly when you don't need it, after a good conversation or a compliment. That's such an important part. It's like, I understand that. I haven't created the thing, and so my confidence isn't there. And then for some reason, I get so much confidence about something goes right, or I finish something that I said I was going to do. The Huberman Lab talks about this too, about the dopamine. They learned how to control it. You have to be able to have these victories without getting such a dopamine rush, and then also be able to have the failures without having such a come down. And this is where meditation has been really helping me regulate that without really having to try. Pattern four, planning has become a ritual that replaces execution. Ugh. I mean, you don't even need to read further than like just that piece, but we will. The number of times that you've made a plan, named it, described the schedule in detail, wrote the mantra, set the alarm, and then the next entry is 3 to 6 weeks later saying that you didn't do it is genuinely shocking. The plan is the comfort object. This is why you've had 10 different 66-day challenge, 100-day challenge, a year of celibacy, all these commitments, 4:15 a.m. wake up pledges. Each one is real in the moment, but none of them survive contact with the next day. That was a little harsh. They've lasted longer than a day, but the point still remains. There's only one thing that I've done. I didn't speak every other day for a year. We'll talk about that in another video. If I have it posted, check. Pattern five, you rationalize chaos as freedom. drugs and girls in Colombia, Bangkok, Goa. You write it with a kind of pride, and then you pivot to shame, and then rationalize again. It was a purge, or it was fun, or many wouldn't mind that. But towards the end of this journal, you wrote that you've had suicidal thoughts, not because life is bad, but because you're terrified of being 45 with no wife, no kids, no business, and still doing the same loop. That's the truth you keep bearing underneath the travel content and the party stories. The chaos isn't freedom. It's the most expensive avoidance strategy you've ever found. I'm gonna read that one again too. The chaos isn't freedom. It's the most expensive avoidance strategy you've ever found. And so now the branding implication. And it's the biggest asset if you're honest. I love that. Your audience is you. Men who know exactly what they should do. They have read all the books, they've done some of the retreats, they talk a great game, and they still can't follow through for 90 days straight. That's not a weakness to hide. That's your entire brand. If you stop pretending that you've already solved it and start documenting the actual daily war in real time, not the revelations, the attempts, the relapses, the getting back up that same day. The question isn't what system will fix you. The question is, are you willing to let people watch you fail and keep going anyway? Because that's what would actually sell the program. Not the yoga knowledge, the proof that a guy like you, smart, self-aware, charismatic, and genuinely messy, can build something real. It might be because I have never been consistent enough with a therapist, or for whatever reason just didn't really vibe with them that much. I couldn't get this type of information out of somebody unless you're working with them for a few years. So I want to challenge you to start journaling about things, because you're going to be able to see some patterns. You got to use the tools that we have. Self-awareness comes through meditation when it comes to behavior patterns. But I think that using personality assessments and then also the help of AI now, you can get to a whole another level of deeper understanding about some things. And the fact that it's a computer telling you and not someone you love, you're not getting defensive about it. That sound was a reminder to integrate emotional depth, not just positivity. This is part of that. Nothing that I've said here is very positive, except for the fact that I'm acknowledging it and saying, okay, man, we gotta just get back on the horse again. And of course, I have all this created doubt in my head, and we're not gonna get into my childhood or my parents or my family in general. But I'll tell you that I've accomplished a lot comparatively, but I haven't accomplished near enough for what I know that my potential is. And that's the gap here that we just gotta start to close. So, with all that being said, this is the process now. Can you just show up for yourself daily and consistently enough to where you don't have to rewrite this time it's gonna be different? That we're talking about now, man, it's been great to accomplish that thing. Now here we're moving on to the next thing. I think we have to start with the end goal in mind. I'll tell you that my end goal is to host retreats. Before that, I think it's to sell some programs online. So if you are a beginner in yoga, I have a great program for that. I'm not flexible, but I've been shown by the best in the world how to start to be aware of what your body is doing in certain positions, and then how to guide it safely into being able to be more in alignment. Because I will share with you too that the more I open up, the less physically tight I am, the less anxious, the less insecure, the less volatile I'm also becoming. That I do already know. So it's not all bad, but it's kind of bad. What's great about having a journey like this at almost 40 years old is like, hey, I have something to do. I'm not in cruise control. And that's great. There's some positives to that I want to figure this out. The other goal that I have is to find wifey. I can be a great husband and a great father. Like it's in me. But I also know that I have to have the confidence to say, I'm consistent. I'm here and I will be here. And I will show up every single day, like it or not. I have the behaviors. And at least for all the negative flaws that I have this positive one where, because of the childhood that I had, I promised I was not going to bring a child into this world until I got my own shit figured out. But it's time now. I pushed it, I think, off as far as I can. So, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you watched. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you on the next one.